Good morning. Happy Monday. Today I'm sleepy. It's Monday. Oh, Mondays are always the hardest for me. I don't know. I think I just enjoy my weekend too much. And now that we're homeschooling and such, Monday becomes even more of a, oh, do I have to get out of bed type day. But we're all surviving. Another week down, on to a new week. More homeschooling, more whatever, isolation, and who knows what'll happen. The numbers are kind of going up and down a lot. Some favorable, definitely going. Some areas, definitely not seeing new cases or many deaths. Other areas still, rampant. This virus definitely seems to pick and choose where it wants to be. But nonetheless, it's Monday. It's a day to learn more about something. So I'm here to teach you more today. So hopefully, I see some Instagram people joining. I cannot see Facebook as well. Oh, there we go. Good morning, Hector. Please wave if you're out there. I'm going to start in just a minute. We're going to talk about an herb today. I did have some requests from many of you to start profiling some of the herbs that I use regularly. Today is one of my favorites and probably one of the most versatile and interesting herbs out there that's been used for centuries. So we're going to be talking about ashwagandha today, which is also called withania, and some of its benefits and how there's many areas of medicine that maybe it's not being utilized as much as it could be. So I want to teach you about that. So wave if you're out there. And I will get ready here to jump in. All right. So, like I said, we're going to talk about an herb today called ashwagandha. Its Latin name is withania. Now, that's a mouthful. I get it. But it's an amazing herb and one you should definitely know about. It is an evergreen shrub. That's what it looks like. Hello. It is mostly grown in the Mediterranean, Middle East, Africa, India, and Pakistan. Okay. And it's been used for centuries. Okay, this is a big herb for people in many different areas of medicine, has a ton of benefits. Word of warning to those of you that are allergic to nightshades, meaning you can't do like peppers, eggplant, tomatoes. This is a nightshade. It is part of the same family. So if you've taken ashwagandha in the past and had a reaction, please keep in mind that you may also have the, same reaction to peppers, tomatoes, eggplant. So watch this one if you're allergic to nightshades. But it is a very valuable herb and still worth learning about. It has been used in herbal medicine forever, and it's a common treatment. Primarily was used as in a treatment for most diseases, which we're going to talk about the top ones here in America and how this herb would be a fabulous addition to help those. But also it was considered an aphrodisiac and a rejuvenative. So something that would lift your spirits and build you back from disease, which is amazing. It's an adaptogenic, which means that whenever your body, hi Carrie, which means whenever your body adapts to stress, this helps you adapt to stress. So it makes it fabulous for any of those top diseases that we experience here in America, like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancer, because it can actually adapt the body to that and heal it, which is amazing. But in addition to that, it's also anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, okay, anti-neoplastic, meaning it fights cancer. It's an aphrodisiac, which is always a great quality to an herb, and a hypnotic, meaning that it helps you sleep. It calms you down. Not a narcotic. It doesn't knock you out completely, but definitely calms you down. We're going to talk about that. So it's great for stress response. It's fabulous for the immune system, which is an important one to be taking right now, okay? Joint pain and inflammation, anxiety, skin blemishes, insomnia. This herb is awesome. Now, for those of you just joining us, we're talking about ashwagandha, and I see a bunch of you saying good morning. Good morning, Mohammed. Good morning, Lisa. Yes, Bill, it is a sleepy day, Monday. And all of you over there on Instagram, hello. I have someone requesting to join, but all right, let's see. So back to ashwagandha. So the reason I like ashwagandha so much is that many of the adrenal herbs that are available can cause stimulation. So for example, maybe you've tried ginseng in the past and it increases your blood pressure, makes you feel a bit wired. What I like about ashwagandha is it has the same benefit, the adaptogenic benefit to the adrenal glands, but it doesn't wire you. If anything, it calms you down. So those people who are in what I would call a stage 1 adrenal fatigue or early stage 2, where you have these moments of anxiety and heart palpitations and high blood pressure and just kind of that fight or flight, go, go, go type mentality, this is a fabulous herb for you because it will calm that down, but still allow you to focus and get things done. So it won't knock you out. So that's comparing to things like some antidepressants, anxiety medications like benzodiazepines, those can calm you down, but they also knock you out, or they could change your ability to function throughout the day. Ashwagandha is a fabulous solution to that. So that's why I like it. It also can lower blood pressure, which we're going to talk about as well. So people that have high stress, insomnia, high blood pressure will do great with this herb as long as you're not allergic to nightshades, okay? Before I go into these functions, I just want to say one thing, okay? And that is that always check with your doctor. Okay, before you start any herbal therapy. Now, in particular, if you are pregnant, lactating, or have any medications that you take, look, herbs are medicine as well. So there's always interactions that have to be checked. Okay, so please make sure you're checking with your doctor. Okay, I have someone saying they've used this herb and it's been a lifesaver for her. Great, I love it. Fabulous, keep it up. Okay, so let's talk about it. Keep sending over questions. I'm trying to keep up with you guys as I go. For those of you that are just joining, this is your daily checkup, your morning checkup with Dr. Pingel, and we're talking about ashwagandha and the benefits of ashwagandha. Okay, well, we already talked about how it's healthy for adrenal function. In general, it helps modify the way that you respond to stress. So if you're in the woods and you see a bear and the bear, causes your blood pressure to go up and your heart to pump, this would help modulate that. Now, how that relates to everyday life is we're always running from bears, right? We got the phone ringing, the emails, this or that. And many of you out there are great at managing stress response and have shared some stories with me about that. And it's great. Many of us are not, okay? And it takes some training. So this is a great one that kind of helps you modulate that physical response to stress, okay? As far as stress and anxiety, I want to talk to you about a couple of the studies on this, or talk to some studies. So cortisol is our stress hormone. And for those of you that have been watching these lives and following along with me, you know that plus epinephrine and norepinephrine are commonly what are released when you see that bear, or when you're in a fight or flight response. Okay, so studies have shown that ashwagandha will actually lower cortisol. Now, sometimes you need cortisol, okay? Cortisol is an important thing. I don't want you guys to think that cortisol should never be used. Of course it should. If you're in the woods and you see a bear, you need to run, right? But if you're running all the time, your resources will deplete. Okay, and that's what adrenal fatigue is a depletion of resources in response to stress. And if your resources are depleting, you can't get as much done. I mean, look at our current situation. We're still trying to find paper towels, folks. I can't find paper towels anywhere, right? So now I've had to adapt how I go about things. When I wash the windows, I'm having to use towels rather than paper towels. You adapt to the stress. So that's what our adrenal glands do. And it's very important in minimal times, if you have a real extreme stressor, for your body to be able to get away from it. But if it's depleted your vitamin C, your B vitamins, it's changed your hormone metabolism, your blood sugar metabolism, you're going to start to develop disease. Okay, and that's why adrenal fatigue is a problem. And that's why I think it's contributing to most of the diseases that we're seeing in our society, okay, is because we're running so much and we're depleting supply. So it is important to be able to lower cortisol when you need. Now, in relationship to ashwagandha, I do sometimes prescribe it during the day. I definitely prescribe it at night because your cortisol should be highest in the morning and then slowly go down throughout the day and put you to sleep at night. Okay, so and Carrie, I will not wash your windows. Someone's asking me to wash their windows. What a jokester. You can come over and help me with mine if you have some paper towels. In a 2012 study, 64 people with a history of chronic stress were divided into two groups, okay? One group that were given ashwagandha and another group that were not. They were given a placebo, okay? At the end of the study, the researchers found that the group taking the supplement had substantially lower levels of cortisol than the placebo group, okay? Overall, the group that took the ashwagandha reported 69% reduction in anxiety as well as insomnia, compared to 11% of the placebo group. 69%, that's great. And we've already talked about how sleep is so important for your health, repairing cells, supporting your liver, all of that. I see someone says this mini quarantine is killing your immune system. Yes. Ashwagandha is an important one. Any type of adrenal stress response when you're trying to keep your immune system on point is so important. If you're running from a bear, guys, you're not going to catch the immune threat. Okay, you've got to stay calm, you've got to stay focused, you've got to keep your body ready to do what it needs to do. So proper nutrition, proper nutrients, proper stress responses, all plays a role in immune function. I do have another live on that. I also have some articles at drpingel.com on that. So check it out if you missed that live. But very good point, Belle. Very good point. So ashwagandha has been proven to help with stress and anxiety. Now, what I find interesting, and you may too, is its impact on the cardiovascular system. So you may or may not know, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in America. It's the leading cause of death. Okay, we're focused right now so much on how many people are dying. In 2017 alone, 650,000 lives in America were lost to cardiovascular disease. This is a big one for me. I lost my dad to cardiovascular disease. It's quick. It ends sometimes in a moment. I lost my other grandmother to cardiovascular disease. I mean, it's a leading cause of death and we need to do something about it. And when we look at the primary medications that are being prescribed, they are mostly for blood pressure and cholesterol, right? Those are in the top 5. So let's talk about how this herb might be able to help you, okay? So there was a study, and then I want to explain it, but there was a study, it was in, I think it was 2012 study, where they took volunteers that took ashwagandha supplement twice a day for 30 days. Okay, so it was a 30-day study. They noted significant, and I use the word significant because that makes a difference in studies, right? They noticed a significant reduction in both LDL and total cholesterol levels. And in animal studies, they did the same study, multiple studies in animals, over 50% reduction. Isn't that cool? Now, why? Why, Dr. Pingel? Why would ashwagandha lower cholesterol levels if it's an adaptogen? I didn't say earlier that it lowered cholesterol levels or ate cholesterol, so why would that happen? Here's why. Cholesterol makes cortisol, okay? So you have cholesterol up here, then you have DHEA, then you have cortisol. So if you have a high demand for cortisol down here, let's say that you're running from a bear and your body's like, more, and it's ramping the cholesterol up, what's that going to do? It's going to raise the DHEA. The DHEA goes up, what's that going to do? It's going to raise the cholesterol, right? You're going to raise your substrate when the demand is higher. It's a simple supply and demand type situation. So if ashwagandha is lowering your cortisol response, it's going to lower the DHEA response a little bit, which is going to lower the cholesterol a little bit. Very easy way to lower cholesterol without having a massive impact such as a pharmaceutical. Now, I'm not advising that you go off your pharmaceuticals and take ashwagandha, okay? But I do advise you talk to your doctor about it, because if you can slowly reduce that cortisol load, you will have a benefit to your cholesterol. And then, other lifestyle measures can lead to more discussions with your doctor about either lowering the statin medication or removing it, depending on your situation. Obviously, you always want to discuss this with your doctor, but I think this is pretty freaking fantastic, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. And also, it's also shown to lower blood pressure. Okay, same reason. If you're in the woods and you see a bear, you jack up cortisol, right? You jack up cortisol and norepinephrine, blood pressure goes up. So if you're someone under a lot of stress who has high blood pressure as a result, when you lower the demand on the adrenal glands, you lower the cortisol, you will then get lower blood pressure, okay? So that's a great benefit. I think with that being one of actually the top killer here in America, we need to pay attention to the impact. Speaking of other positive impacts, it is also a potent anti-inflammatory. Now, think about all of the diseases associated with inflammation. You have anything from autoimmune disease, so rheumatoid arthritis. Oh my gosh, they go on forever. Even cardiovascular disease is inflammatory, diabetes is inflammatory. Just the immune system response when you have inflammation, okay? Inflammation worsens your immune system response in the long term. You want inflammation right away to fight a disease real quickly, but then you want it to go back down. You don't want inflammation to hang around, okay? Gut health has a lot to do with inflammation. So inflammation is an important one. Ashwagandha is also a very potent anti-inflammatory. Yay. So let's see. I'm sure I have a study for you, because that's what we like to do around here, and Dr. Pingel's checkups. In 2009, they had participants consume ashwagandha extract twice daily for only 4 days. Short study. Okay, guys? Short study. But they found that the major changes occurred in the immune cell activation within these participants. So it indicated that ashwagandha may help fight infection and lower the resultant inflammation, which is great, okay? It's a powerful benefit on the immune system. Now, there are many more studies on that. Look it up. I mean, it's abundant. So while we're talking about common conditions here in America, I did a live last week on memory, and a lot of you sent me comments, and I so appreciate it because I think many of you are experiencing loss of memory with some of the stress going on, stress prior to our pandemic, but also now. Ashwagandha, oh, good morning, sleepy. Ashwagandha also helps aid our cognitive function. Now, this is a bit counterintuitive, okay? Most people would think if your memory is poor, you would take a stimulant, or if your focus is bad, you would take a stimulant, right? But I'm sitting here telling you that this is not a stimulant, right? This is a relaxant. So how the heck could it work? Now, in a world where we're using a lot of medications for attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, where we're giving stimulants for that treatment, the more you stimulate the adrenal glands, the worse your memory is going to become, okay? Because when you're running from a bear, right, you're not going to remember all those little things you passed. You're not going to remember where you are, right? So it's very important actually to lower the cortisol output a little bit so that you can focus, okay? And that's where ashwagandha comes in, okay? And they did a study on this in 2017 with 50 participants. They took ashwagandha twice daily for 8 weeks, okay? And in that 8 weeks, they demonstrated significant, there's that word significant again, significant improvements in immediate and general memory, improvements in attention, mental processing speed, and this was all in comparison to people who took a placebo. Now, like I said, sometimes being calm improves your focus. If you're wired and you're overstimulated and everything is stimulating you, you're going to miss small details. And that is where I feel a lot of the memory problems and brain fog and such that many of us experience on a day-to-day basis come from, is we're overstimulated. We need to calm down. Okay, ashwagandha will help you get there. That's why it's fantastic in memory, which is incredible. And in fact, while I'm on that, they've also seen benefits in its treatment of neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Why is that? Because it actually has been shown to reverse behavioral deficits, the plaque load on the brain, and the accumulation of beta amyloid peptides in the brain, okay? And that's what makes these neurodegenerative diseases so detrimental, is you get these plaques on the brain. So this has actually been shown to slow them. There's some cool studies on that. So Alzheimer's and Parkinson's they're heartbreaking. So anything we can do that's natural to help possibly reverse that, we should do, okay? Alzheimer's, just so you know, is the 6th leading cause of death in America. So keep that in mind. And Parkinson's is incredibly difficult to watch. If you have any loved ones with Parkinson's, it's so difficult and you feel so helpless. So anything that we can do to lower that, we should take, right? Cancer. So, many know, sorry, I'm reading comments at the same time. If you see my eyes darting around, you guys are talkative today. I like it. And someone's asking about dosage of ashwagandha. Everyone's so different. I would advise talking to your doctor, but also look at the label on the bottle, because depending on how you take it, whether it's an extract or a capsule or whatnot, sometimes the dosages change. So the supplements are regulated in some respect and not letting you overdose, but talk to your doctor about exact, because I do vary ranges dramatically amongst people depending on where they're at. Okay. But I want to talk about cancer a little bit. So cancer is our second leading cause of death. I think it was around 600,000 people died in 2017 from cancer. I lost my mom to cancer. It was heartbreaking. She stayed well with natural therapies such as ashwagandha and others for very long, 12 years or so before we had to resort to chemotherapy. Very important, but that is a huge second leading cause of death. That's a lot of people every year. So numerous studies have shown the benefits of ashwagandha on tumor cells, okay? Particularly on breast, colon, lung, and ovarian cancers, okay? And this has been in conjunction with chemotherapy and without. They've seen benefit. And this is a great time to discuss integrative medicine, because I think a lot of people think that if you're a naturopath, you're only looking at natural therapies, that you're against conventional therapies. In my case, that is not the case. I think we have an area of medicine that could be so valuable if we would just come together. Looking at what's going on with coronavirus right now, and we've got this medicine cocktail over here, and in the naturopathic world, they're using a lot of IV vitamin C, zinc, melatonin. There's all of these other natural therapies that are reducing duration of illness, and these are in studies, guys, but they're not being necessarily brought into the hospital. They're not being brought in an integrative way. Can you imagine how many more lives we could save if the two sides came together, right? Same thing here. For the longest time, I was able to help my mom stay healthy with natural therapies, but there became a point where we had to consider others. And I do think the combination of looking at both, weighing the situation for each patient, where are you at? How severe is it? What can you do? And looking at it from an integrative approach, where we look at the benefits of the conventional model and we look at the benefits of the more non-conventional model, I guess, and we put them together. Imagine how much we could do, especially the impact of adrenal fatigue and stress on the body, nutrition, exercise, mind-body type medicine. I mean, you throw some of the mind-body aspects into there as well. I mean, I've watched people with cancers that were not supposed to survive from, and they're still here, just from looking at both sides and being integrative. So I think particularly right now, pay attention to everything going on with the virus, okay? Pay attention to the integrative aspect of it. The more that we can do to benefit our body and benefit our health with natural remedies, the better those pharmaceutical remedies will work and the less we will need of them, hopefully over time, right? In general, for general wellness. So ashwagandha, fantastic in cancer therapy. Definitely take a look at it. Speak to a naturopath if your doctor isn't familiar. Find out more about it. It definitely has been shown. In fact, the study I was just mentioning, where they did it in conjunction with chemotherapy or without, showed a 70 to 80% reduction in tumor growth and complete inhibition of metastasis to other organs. Okay, that's pretty big. That's a big deal. So definitely always look at the integrative portion of it. Lastly, what I want to talk about real quick with ashwagandha is how it impacts blood sugar levels. Now, I told you earlier that how does it work? It lowers cortisol. When you lower cortisol, you have a positive impact on cholesterol, which we already talked about. You have a positive impact on blood pressure. You also have a change in blood sugar. Why? Because cortisol and insulin, they're friends, okay? So when cortisol is released, insulin's released. When insulin is released in too much abundance, you end up with fat deposition. This is why ashwagandha is also cited to work in weight management, because it can help lower that insulin fat deposition. But also, it starts to lower insulin resistance, okay? Because when you overstimulate insulin, that's where we get these insulin resistant diabetes. Now there's multi-factors to that. Okay, folks, I'm not saying that ashwagandha is a cure-all, but if you can lower that cortisol response, you will have a favorable impact on your blood sugar as well. So this is an amazing herb. Now, I didn't talk about some of the other cool things involved in it. I'll leave that to your research, but it has also been shown in obsessive compulsive disorder to have a fantastic response because we're lowering cortisol, right? Improving sexual function. Why? Because we're lowering cortisol. Do you stop and have sex when you're running from a bear? No. Do you think about it? Probably not. Right? Lower cortisol function, more relaxation, better sexual function. It's also been shown to increase male infertility, sperm quality specifically. Weight management, I kind of touched on just from the cortisol insulin aspect, I suspect. Muscle strength and recovery in men who are doing resistance training. It's also been showing quite a benefit in. So there's a ton. The key underlying point here, guys, is that cortisol plays a role in every single system of your body. So anything you can do to regulate and control your cortisol levels will benefit your health. And you will see this theme probably throughout all of my lives because it is so true. So we want to find herbs, nutrition, lifestyle changes, anything we can do to keep that cortisol response so that it's highest in the morning and decreases steadily throughout the day. We want to see a linear drop, okay? Ashwagandha is fabulous at that. So I hope you learned something today. I have so many comments out here. I'm going to have to go through and answer you all individually. I hope this was valuable to you. If you found this valuable and you love these lives, please share them, okay? Share them. Get the word out. Here I am. I'm showing up Monday through Friday around this time to teach all of you. So bring your friends in. Let's have a meeting, right? Let's just learn together. Share it, view them, comment, questions. If you have any more topic suggestions, I'm wide open. I've got some cool ideas for this week. Haven't quite narrowed them down. I'm playing with them. So I have some cool stuff that's on the pipeline for this week. So I think we'll have some good lives, hopefully a lot of questions. Hopefully a lot of you continue to join. I will tell you, I absolutely love seeing a lot of the same names popping up every day. I'm starting to feel like I expect you to be there. I know you. So hello. Thank you so much for being here. Share this, like this, spread the word, and I will see you tomorrow about the same time, usually around, it's always between 9 and 10 Pacific Standard Time. I usually try to shoot for about 9:15, 9:20, 9:25, somewhere in there. As long as my kids get up and start their schoolwork, I'll be here on time. If not, what are you going to do? Right? Let's not stress about it. So anyway, I think I can go change my mug now to awake. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go start my day. Very nice to see all of you. Much love from the Pingels. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if you want to read more about this herb and other herbs and health conditions, check out drpingel.com, drpingel.com. Okay? Take care, guys. Happy Monday.